Tyler Shough might be in some trouble, ladies and gentlemen. It's not looking good for the Saints' second-round pick, 40th overall pick. Some reports today. I've had a lot of people say, James, you going to talk about this? You going to talk about these reports out of training camp that Tyler Shough is washed, as the kids say? Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Kick back, put your feet up, enjoy yourself, get you a cold pop, and watch the face of the franchise do what only I can do. Okay, so Jeff Duncan tweeted this out today. At the same time, quote, at the same time, Tyler Shough might have overseen / directed the worst 2-minute drive in the history of the NFL during situational work late in practice. Now, this caused a bit of a, for lack of a better term, a bit of a shitstorm, okay? Because this does not sound good, right? We're starting to hear a little bit of this. So we've heard it since the pads came on. We've heard a little baby bit of, well, offense isn't looking as good. Well, the quarterbacks aren't looking as good. Well, Rattler had an off day, then bounced back. Rattler's still positive, but we're starting to see a few warts, if you will. And if you see any warts in your own life, get your ass to Walgreens. Okay. Now, I did think what Jono said was hilarious. His first meal in New Orleans was Dragos. He'll be all right. The Dragos thing is we made fun of that too, but it is what it is. Now Jeff Duncan did walk this back, which I didn't like. Okay, because he walks it back and says, and to be clear, this was far from being all on Shough. Some poor shotgun snaps, turnstile, pass protection, and penalties conspired to derail the drive. I didn't like this because this makes it all on Shough, right? Like when you tweet this out and say, at the same time, Tyler Shough might have overseen directed the worst 2-minute drive in the history of the NFL, and then 2 hours later to say, whoa, guys, to be clear, this wasn't all on Shough. Okay, well then why did you tweet this? All right. But what I want to direct you to is also this video. Okay, this is from Polymarket Football, Polymarket Blitz. This is titled, Tyler Shough is atrocious. So let's watch.
Real with you guys, Tyler Shough has been atrocious at Saints training camp so far. I just filmed a long form video going through every single practice clip that I've seen of Shough so far. We have 5 minutes of footage here, and it's just been really rough to see. Here is the first clip. This is one of the worst 7-on-7 reps I've ever seen. He's just running around the field. He's not getting rid of the football, and then he's going to run for 2 yards.
That was bad. All right, that clip, not great. But we've seen a little bit of this from Shough rolling to his left. That's where he's the best. That's where he was the best in college. We saw a lot of his best plays when he rolled to his left. So this is not a good play. There's not a lot defending this play.
He's just running around the field. He's not getting rid of the football, and then he's going to run for 2 yards. His accuracy issues have still remained here. Just going to be another very errant throw over the middle of the field. We have yet another instance of him holding on to the ball too long and taking another egregious sack. He's still fading away from pressure and just not good when a defender even in pressure.
So on the previous throw, the errant throw over the middle of the field, he was fading away from pressure. This is something we talked about right after the draft. I did a few videos where I was breaking down some of his tape, and even on some of his highlight throws, you could see him fading away. And it's okay to get away with a highlight reel type play, but the more you do it, like that's just not something you want to see. So
practice is in his face. Where's that throw going? Even on some of his completions, it's behind Rashid Shaheed here. He has to come back for the football. Even on this completion, again to Rashid Shaheed on this out route, the pass is going to be high and inaccurate, so he can't even get 2 feet.
Yeah, Rashid's in no man's land here.
Inbounds. And there's also just been a ton of checkdowns from him, even on 7-on-7.
Checkdowns or whatever, you never know the context. You never know what they're supposed to do. Sometimes checkdowns the right play.
You're supposed to just try and fit the ball into some windows down the field. We have another clip of Shough trying to go down the field to Shaheed again, but he throws this ball out of bounds. He doesn't even have a chance to catch this one. It's been widely reported that Spencer Rattler has been by far and away the best quarterback at Saints camp, and he could end up being the week 1 starter. And look, I know Shough is a rookie. It's his first NFL training camp, but he's also 26 years old. I thought he was going to be a little bit more pro-ready than what he's shown so far.
All right, here's the deal. Okay? Here's the deal, guys. We are in the 8th day of training camp. Tyler Shough is on the roster of the New Orleans Saints. The grandstanding and rooting against him or this guy's trash or whatever that I'm seeing 8 days in, and on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the 4th day of padded practice, I think is crazy. Okay? I think is absolutely insane. He's a rookie. I understand he's a 2nd-round pick. It's training camp. There are going to be interceptions. There are going to be bad days. There is going to be a learning curve. At this point now, you know who it's on? It's on Kellen Moore. So now it's how good of a coach are you? Because you drafted this guy. You knew what was going on. You knew his limitations. You knew the red flags coming out of Louisville. Same exact stuff we're seeing here. And I just did a video on this about Caleb Williams, where a lot of the same problems we were seeing with Caleb Williams at USC, we saw last year, and now we're seeing in training camp. So now it's on to Ben Johnson to figure things out. Remember, Caleb Williams throws his 6th interception of training camp. This is July 26th. Again, not even showing him in this clip. Caleb Williams cannot run a Ben Johnson offense, and he isn't NFL ready. Okay? Caleb is struggling. But then you see this, also from Polymarket Football. Caleb Williams has turned a corner since last Sunday in a major way. And then you see this from today. Caleb Williams have a day. 3 touchdowns, no picks, 18 for 22, 2 for 2, plus 35 yards, 0 sacks. What does this tell you? It tells you, ladies and gentlemen, that in training camp, preseason, you have ebbs and flows. And that's what it's all about. That's what training camp is there for. It's there to work through things, develop, install an offense, learn, and grow. If you can give Caleb Williams the grace to do this in 5 days, okay, so this is July 26th, is the 6th interception, whatever. Then July 31st, we see turn the corner, and then boom, July 31st. So within 5 days, the narrative has changed for Caleb Williams. Today, 3 hours ago, not a good day for Jaden Daniels. 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 14 for 27, a lot of scrambles during 7-on-7. So what? Do we just throw Jaden Daniels? All right, he's out. He's gone. Struggled in training camp. He's gone. No, we don't. You have to give these guys time. You have to see if they can work through this. That's the whole point. If they don't, if they can't work through it, if we see Tyler Shough continue to regress, if we see him never figure this out and it bleed out into the preseason, and then obviously he wouldn't be starting. So then, we would hear reports that it's still an issue, whatever. Okay, then it's the talking point. 8 days into training camp, I don't think it's a talking point. And to a certain extent, this is across the league. Same with the Caleb Williams thing. When you are in this 24/7 news cycle that we're in, and there's social media and clips and whatever, it is possible and likely that you'll see a lot of this, where it's like 14-second, 2-minute clip of just the bad clips or just the good clips, and then you put your narrative together of blank player is the best thing in the world, right? You can show one-handed catches, you can show highlight throws, you can show whatever reps you want to build whatever narrative you want. Training camp, practice, the driving range shouldn't be under the microscope like they are. They shouldn't be. If you looked at a PGA player's driving range session and was like, man, he's struggling doing this or he's struggling doing that, that would be fruitless. Because you don't know what they're working on, you don't know the context. These are back-to-back on the timeline. Back-to-back on the timeline. Caleb Williams throws a 6th interception. Caleb Williams had his best day of training camp so far. What are we supposed to glean from that? Right? So I'm not going to sit here and say don't worry about these reports with Tyler Shough. Monitor them, no doubt. But I cannot believe that on a Thursday, 4 days in pads, 8 days at training camp, and we already have Saints fans saying this guy's trash, we should have taken Shedeur Sanders, who's taken 4th-team reps with the Browns and is the only quarterback not taking 1st-team reps. I think it's crazy that narrative has now creeped up. So if nothing else in this video, don't do that. Don't go day to day and say, today, he's QB1, best player ever. Tomorrow, this guy's trash. This guy's ass. We should have drafted somebody else. Wasted pick, whatever. Hospital ball, whatever other phrase there is. We don't need to swing the yo-yo that severely in training camp. And again, if Spencer Rattler wins this quarterback battle, and right now he is certainly leading it, and after all these reports, it's hard to imagine that Rattler is going to lose the job / Shough is going to win the job by the time the regular season gets here. Sounds like Spencer Rattler will be the starting quarterback. If that's the case, all aboard the Spencer Rattler train. All aboard rooting for Rattler. This is not Team Rattler versus Team Shough. The only team is the New Orleans Saints. So we'll see who wins the quarterback battle, but I would say when it comes to all of the players, let them go through training camp. Let them go through this. If you see a Trevor Penning rep that's not a great rep, don't say, all right, well, cut him. If you see a Chase Young rep that is good, don't say, well, Chase Young, Defensive Player of the Year. They're all going to average out at the end. All right, and then we can figure out what's going on. Then we can assess, But I think the rhetoric today, I think the conversation today was a little overblown. Keep our eyeballs on it. Keep both of mine on it. Hopefully Shough gets better. Hopefully he has a better day tomorrow than he did today. All right, sounds like it wasn't a good day, but it is what it is. So there it is. That's what I think about it. I'm not concerned. I'm not throwing away my Tyler Shough jerseys that I don't have, but I would just say relax a little bit. Relax a little bit. There's going to be a lot of engagement farming over the next couple of days. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. And I will see you in the next video.